Story, story, story. It is super important to the Need for Speed franchise, and that's why today's topic of Need for Speed 2019 is story. Now, back when I made this channel based around me just complaining about Need for Speed all the time, which if you didn't know, that was the case. You can go back and search anything. Search Ghost, Black Panther. You might find my main complaint with Most Wanted 2012 and Hot Speed 2010. Well, one of the main ones was the customization, but one of the other main ones was story. It lacked it so much, basically stripped everything about the Need for Speed DNA that had been built up over the years, and then they pooed it on a plate and we were like, here, eat your knife and fork. Story gives us a reason to keep playing, keep exploring, wondering what's going to happen next. It gives us ways to introduce things to players, different types of game mode mechanics, all that kind of thing. That's why I think introducing drifting missions, mandatory drift missions to complete the game in the Need for Speed franchise makes much more sense than it does in Forza, because Forza, they don't introduce anything to you, they don't teach you, they don't talk to you about anything. My favorite story modes are those that I've shown a little bit earlier in the video. That is Most Wanted 2005, where they showed a revenge story. It was really gritty, and it was like, oh, I must get my car back, and it was a lot of fun to just kind of have that revenge-esque story that's kind of Fast and Furious style. And then we've got Carbon, which was a whodunit story. If you're not sure about how that works, we're doing a Let's Play currently, so you should probably check that out. And then I loved the rawness of Need for Speed The Run. It was a cross-country battle for a man that had little hope, and that's basically all we knew, but it was still a good story. Of any single Need for Speed game that has existed, any single one, which story would I like to see continued the most? I would probably have to say Need for Speed The Run. Why is that the case? Well, I think they had the least there. In Need for Speed The Run, there wasn't much really talking about the guy. We didn't know anything about him. We didn't know anything about his past. How did he get into debt? How does he know how to drive cars? He won the race. What happens next? He probably paid off his debt or went on holiday. What happened to this man? Jack, please. The story was really short but really strong, because it didn't really need to tell you that much. I mean, if we look back to Most Wanted 05 and Carbon, we knew basically nothing about the player. The character was called Player by default. There was no talking from the player. We saw that he was just some generic white guy. Sometimes, most of the time, it was a first-person camera, so you were the player. I personally am going to say, of all Need for Speed's kind of styles, that probably worked the best. The way that Need for Speed The Run forced this reality of gritty, illegal street racing onto us, I think did it better than a lot of the other games. The aggressive characters, how everybody kind of just was like, yeah, whatever. And for the people that hated you, they slammed their cars into you and really spoke down onto you, and it made you like, I'm going to beat this guy. This guy's supposed to be some kind of boss. Sure, whatever, don't really care. Then all of a sudden he speaks to you and calls you a piece of crap. You are gonna try and beat this man. The reason I kept pushing on Most Wanted 05 was to beat Razor. He was talking down on me. I wanted to beat this man. You, Ghost Games, need to make us hate the main villain, guys. We need someone to go, I need to beat this game to beat this guy. There are so many amazing examples of games out there that I just kept playing because the villain was fantastic. Now, 2019, this one's a little bit different because I don't want to particularly say this is what I want from the story. Generally, these videos I would talk about, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, like rapid fire stuff. This one's more of an open question for you guys. Kind of give your thoughts on what you think there should go story-wise next. Now, there's two main paths that we either have to follow at the beginning. Path number one is we follow the storyline of, I've forgotten all that, Tyler and his posse, and or number two, we completely scrap all of them and go for another world. Need for Speed is known for up and going and leaving the base it's already made. I mean, Most Wanted and Carbon were the only games I can think that really carried on storyline from each other. Sure, there were links, for example, in those up until Carbon Pro Street, but there were no like full-on proper continuations except those two games, and I think they worked off pretty well. Even if you hadn't played Most Wanted, Carbon pulled it off well, and where it was one of those you could pick it up and jump in and still know exactly what the heck's going on. Now, if Ghost decide to keep going on with the Tyler storyline and all those illegal peoples that are somehow thinking that they're the good people, I don't know. Basically, it's very like cartoon-esque or movie, like hero movie-esque. That's the theme they're going for. But for games, for me, it has to be a little bit different. If you look back at Most Wanted 5 and Carbon, the reality was there that what we're doing is illegal. We're not good, but we know that this person's even badder. But we need to realize that we're not doing good either. We're taking down police. We're doing very illegal stuff. It's a street race. That's what needs to happen if we continue the Tyler stuff. We need to get rid of him because, oh my god, the other two are kind of bearable. Not particularly massively bearable. I would rather they don't come back, per se, personally. But the option is there for them to come back if they do it right. I want them to feel more like people and not try and be more like heroes. I don't care about the hero stuff. Make them speak less and just take more people shouting at them. The best revenge is to beat someone in a race, or like someone talks down to you, something dirty, to like, I'm gonna destroy you like you're rubbish. What is that ride? Haha! All that kind of stuff. And then I beat them in the race. That says a lot more than, I'm Mac and I can drift my way to this.
It's already taken care of.
Where we could go from Tyler being ended is anywhere. We could find out who did it, why, basic story concepts, very easy to come by, but you could throw a lot in there to do street racing. You're in a new area. The main thing, as I said, is that these guys need to realize that they're criminals, and you need to show that they know they're criminals and not just some happy group that all of a sudden decided to form a group and steal from this big organization and destroy police and then think that they're the good guy. It doesn't make any sense. What I personally think is they should scrap the characters, as I mentioned, and I think what we should do is have the player return again. A player that is not the same player as Most Wanted 05, Carbon, whatever. None of them. Don't want a returning, I want a new one. I want it to, I think that was the best way to do it. I mean, Pro Street, Undercover, Most Wanted, like those are the best ones story-wise, and even the run, even though it had a character, I guess that's the only example of a character as the player that worked really well. But again, we didn't know much about him, and that doesn't bother me so much. Like, I didn't care that I didn't know much about him. I just knew the basic premise of what he was after. I wouldn't care if I didn't hear the character speak once in the game. I would rather that than the happy go, oh yay! We should know basically nothing about them other than what the objective is, why they're doing it, and people speak down to them and think they're rubbish, and then all of a sudden they destroy them on the track. That's what we want. I say we, I'm talking about me. I should stop saying that. That's what I want. That's what I want. Instead of spending all the time, money, effort on making these characters that are going to stick around and you're going to play out and all that kind of thing, what I want to see instead of that is I want to see more emphasis on the characters around me. I want to see Cross. I want to see Darius. I want to see Razor. I want to see characters like that I remember. Am I going to remember Tyler and Jess and everyone? No. I'm not going to remember any of the villains either. There's no memorable characters there that I can grab onto like I can the others, because they were aggressive. They were a main purpose for that, the whole thing. All we know, we don't even know the main villain on Payback. That's an issue, because I can't go, oh, that was the best villain ever. When we play a racing game, I don't think, like, I get the idea of you want to make us feel good. You want us to make us feel heroes. And that's the whole premise of Need for Speed, in the fact that you want people to drive well with the easy mechanics and then feel like an absolute god. But reality, what we want is street racing, dirty, gritty street racing with police chasing us. And we want to feel like the bad guy, very much so. So if anything, maybe don't have a bad guy at all. Just have a storyline that we're here to mess something up. And that's what we're here to do. I mean, that's it. Okay, to be fair, I still want a bad guy, but whatever. Let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to see. That's pretty much what I want to see story-wise. Other than that, I mean, the idea of a single player to me would be that you can play it offline, you can enjoy it, you thoroughly think that, yes, I've bought a game that I'm very happy with, and that you know, even with the single player, that's spot on. The multiplayer is where it goes after that. There's something to do after that, and that's what I want from this game. I want the single player and multiplayer to be split like Payback was. I think that was the best way to do it. I mean, I like the idea of 2015 seamlessness, but there was no incentive to actually play together with people. If they change that, go for that. But I think, ideally in my mind, I want the single player and multiplayer to be separate, but the cars obviously carry over, and maybe some like special performance unlocks that you can unlock in multiplayer carry across. I want them to seamlessly like be the same thing as such, in the terms of what cars we have and all that kind of thing. I don't want like a GTA single player, GTA Online style thing. I want the effort put in single player to translate across to effort in multiplayer, if that makes sense. Be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, as I said, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace.